Okay, all right. Yeah, I love you too, Mr. President. I gotta go. What's up, JayhawkJukebox? Welcome to our first show of the year. I'm here with my goody old pal, Carmina.
Hello, it is my first time on JayhawkJukebox. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, so we're here. This segment is Song of the Week. So we're gonna talk about, get this, a song of the week.
No way.
We each picked one. Hopefully you guys will listen to it and enjoy it. What was your song of the week, Carmina?
So, Jack, I picked Sunburn by Dominic Fike. I don't know, I was gonna say I've been in a Dominic Fike mood lately, but honestly, I've been in a Dominic Fike mood for the last 3 years, because I got into him in 2020, and since then he's always been in my top, 5, top 3 artists, just somebody that I really enjoys music.
Yeah, nice. We were talking about this earlier. I need to listen to more Dominic Fike. So if anyone's out there watching this, DM me and tell me to watch it. Why did you pick this song?
So Sunburn is also the title of that album. He just put it out last month on the 7th, maybe, I believe. And listening to it, I take it as a homage to how he grew up. He grew up in Florida, had some tough times with his mom raising him and his siblings by himself, just kind of talking about his experiences growing up in that type of environment,
Mm-hmm, true. I had listened to the song for the first time when Carmina sent it. I liked it. The drums were fun, but there was one line that caught me. I was like, wow, that's dark. It's the "When I Died, Leave Me in the Sun." I was like, all right, if that's what you want. But it was a good song, though. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad.
Yes.
Okay, what about your song?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. My song that I picked was The Glade, The Glod, The Glued, The Glade by Daniel Caesar and Sean Leon. I'm a huge Daniel Caesar guy. I'm very upset that I'm not seeing him in Chicago because it's the closest place he's coming. But the vocals in that song, Daniel Caesar can sing his face off, and I love it.
Can.
His falsetto in that song, it's music to my ears. Literally, the first time I did it, I melted.
It was a good song. It was my first time hearing that song, actually. Not as familiar with Sean Leon. Is that how you say it?
I think.
Yeah, and it was a really good song. I've been listening to a lot of R&B also lately, so it was perfect vibe. I listened to it when I was taking a shower this morning, actually. It was perfect vibe to go with that. And so, I've been a pretty big Daniel Caesar fan too for a couple of years now. He's just...
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what we have for you guys. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week with the next song of the week. But I don't know what song of the week it's going to be. It's not even going to be us, so don't get too sad when you don't see our faces next week. But don't be too mean to the other people as well. Let us know if you guys have any songs of the week. Shoot it to us on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Plug.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
any message you have for your first segment now done?
Thank you guys for having me. It was fun. I will hopefully do it again, maybe. We'll see.
That's what I'm saying too. Please let me back on. They keep me hidden in the back. So yeah, we'll see you guys later.
Hello and welcome to JayhawkJukebox. Today we are going to be talking about the most recent Travis Scott album, which dropped this summer. My name is Quinn Millstone.
My name is Hayden Grace Peters, and this is my debut on JayhawkJukebox. So thank you all for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, so I had no idea what to expect from Utopia. The first time I listened to it, I was on my way to work, and I was really expecting something really good. I had previously listened to pretty much the entire album on SoundCloud before it had even come out. Thank you, Leak Gods, for that. But what actually came out on Spotify was very, very, very different. The album opens up with vocals and a reverb and delay soup. I was surprised not to hear Travis Scott himself speaking through the speakers like he had done so before. When the bass dropped, I couldn't help but begin to feel the rage flow through me as the 808s rattled my bones. That's a quote from an old Travis Scott song from Days Before the Rodeo, if you didn't know. My dopamine levels pretty much peaked after he said, "I named the jet Jayhawk because it's out of Kansas." But because of that, I mean, that was pretty much the peak moment on that, in my opinion, because after that, it was like a steep decline. I mean, I'm a rodeo guy myself, and the only thing that was similar to rodeo on that album was pretty much just the drums, which Kanye had a lot of help with.
I'm going to stop you right there. So did you know that there's a sample on Hyena by a 70s British prog rock band called Gentle Giant?
Well, I had no clue, but did you know on that exact same song, they sampled Maggot Brain?
I did not.
By Funkadelic?
I see. Interesting. Good to know. Well, let's move on to the second track, Thank God. What are your thoughts on Thank God?
Thank God, I thought it was really good. I thought it felt more like an R&B pop song than it did I didn't really feel any rap influence in it, which I thought was kind of weird because, I mean, when you think of Travis Scott, what do you think about?
Well, I would owe that to Tizo Touchdown, personally, because he did work with Tyler, and I think you can see some of those elements are reminiscent of that project on Call Me If You Get Lost. Extremely influential on that one.
Tizo Touchdown, that was crazy.
But also, that is the first song with a Kanye production credit.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Wasn't he the head producer on that?
On
the whole album?
I would argue to say that, yeah.
I am personally a huge fan of Tizo as well. I know he's a pretty controversial artist because most people either love him or they hate him.
So what did you think about him on Modern Jam?
The intro to his track was good, but after that, Travis Scott was trying to ad-lib through it, and it kind of ruined the verse for me, in all honesty.
So, it actually, thank God, Modern Jam uses the original beat from I'm a God off of Yeezus. So even more Kanye production influence, and I'm loving it personally. Just the production influence, that's it. Nothing else about Kanye. But moving on, I would say that Modern Jam and My Eyes, the next track on the album, are definitely two of my top favorites.
Yeah.
It's a very contrasting track, and I feel it has Frank Ocean elements in it. But that's not just a commonality just out of nowhere. It's because it has Buddy Ross, who was a producer on Blonde. So if you hear any resemblance to Frank Ocean on that song, you would be correct. It is indeed a Blonde producer.
I really, really liked My Eyes. I think that was actually my favorite. I'd say that's my favorite song on the entire album. I really liked when he transitioned from the ambient, subtle beat that he had into an actual hip-hop beat, because we've been I mean, before that, we had kind of been missing that. Hyena was a little bit that, but it felt super mainstream as well to me, considering that it's Travis Scott. But my eyes, he actually started to delve into his own thoughts, and I feel like I took it that it was a chance for him to be vulnerable, and I think that he actually tried to talk about Kylie Jenner and where his head was at after 2021, and I thought that was a really, really cool thing.
That's something we like to see in new music, I think, and I appreciate that vulnerability.
Moving on, also we have Fiend by, okay, anyway.
Fiend, it's long awaited, has a Sheck West feature on it. Playboy Cardi also has writing credits, which is surprising, but not. So I really enjoyed that part of it. But that was like a long awaited drop in Travis fandom, I've heard. I'm not as much of a Travis listener myself. I don't really listen to a lot of rap, but I do appreciate the writing credits and the production credits on this album as a whole. I think it's superb.
I thought it was really good. I'm really excited to see if Playboy Cardi drops music, the music titled album coming up this next year. But hopefully we'll also be able to get to cover that on Jayhawk Jukebox next time. Anyway, that's all for us, folks. Again, my name is Quinn Millstone.
My name is Hayden Grace Peters, and thank you for having us.
Hey guys.
Hi guys, I'm Jolie.
I'm Chloe.
And I'm Kit. Welcome to the Eras Tour. Today we're going to be talking about the Eras Tour. I tried to get tickets to 3 different countries and I didn't get them.
3 different countries?
3
Not
different
even
countries.
states?
Dublin, Toronto, and Boston. Didn't get any.
That's okay.
Right. You know, it's okay.
It
You win
happens.
some, you lose some. Maybe you'll see her. I'm sure she'll be back.
She'll be
around,
back.
You know?
She will be back. Second leg.
will be
She'll be back. Don't worry. Don't worry.
No, I didn't go because we'll talk about it a little bit later. I was a little bit of a hater. I know that rhymes. I am a song artist as well. Songwriter.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah, but I didn't end up going. I just lived through the TikToks and everything. But we know Miss Jolie got to go.
I did get to go. If you can see my merch, I stood in line for like 45 minutes for this shirt. So yeah, I went KC night 1. So I win. I saw Taylor Lautner. I breathe the same air. Yes, Taylor, and Taylor. All 3 were there.
Taylor Lautner's wife is also
also
named
Taylor.
Taylor
Yeah,
Lautner.
what a full triangle moment. I really love that little It's great, but moral of the story, I won. And I was in the front row, not to flex or anything, but I was in the front row. So
What were the surprise songs?
my surprise songs were When Emma Falls in Love. I know. And Speak
Apparently
Now
Kit
came
really
out
likes
that
that
day. I like that one too. Yeah. Speak Now, whoa, Enchanted. Not Enchanted, sorry.
Long live.
Long Live.
That's what you were trying to say.
Well, that's not a surprise song. Well, it was first like that day.
Technically, it was a surprise song that day, but then she just added it to the set list.
So it was a
Right.
surprise, with the guitar,
Yep.
the fish,
Yep.
I win, and Never Grow Up.
Also, we're all wearing our friendship bracelets today. Friendship bracelets, because that was a big thing that Taylor did on this tour, which is really fun because, her lyrics.
Yeah.
Boy.
That was actually my bracelet that I made the day of the concert. Swift AF Boy.
Yup.
I made probably 20 of those.
Yup.
Wait, tell us who else was there besides the Taylors.
You
Who
know,
opened? Was it again?
Gracie Abrams.
Her.
And
Don't forget about Joey King.
Joey King was there. I'm a stan, honestly.
You
I
are?
love Joey King. Like, she had her, moment, but, the kissing booth. I love
Okay, that one kind of slapped. I'm not gonna lie, that one kind of hard. But
I'm
yeah.
a stan.
No, I get it. I can relate to that one a lot. I actually was a big Kissing Booth fan. That's not the point, but I was a big fan. So.
It's
Okay,
good.
so now we
Yeah.
wanted to talk about the real reason why we're here is to talk about the economic benefits of the Eras Tour. Because
Right.
For some reason,
Female
Everyone's favorite
empowerment.
part.
For some reason, the Eras Tour has boosted the economy more than anything we've ever seen.
I believe it.
We have some statistics here. This is from Time Magazine. There's a projected growth of $2.2 billion in North American ticket sales alone. Just North America, not even including her international dates. Analysts estimate that the Eras Tour will likely surpass the $1 billion mark in March while she's touring internationally. Her tour doesn't end until next November.
Yeah.
She'll be
And-
back. Get tickets
The Eras Tour, if you dare. But the Eras Tour is also projected to generate close to $5 billion in consumer spending in the United States alone. And then we have this quote that says, if Taylor Swift were an economy, she'd be bigger than 50 countries. And it's also creating jobs, which is super cool because it helps both domestic and international economies. And she's given out $100,000 bonuses to all of her truck drivers, which is over $1 million given out, like, in just for, like, the driving. Because, you know, they gotta travel via Suez Canal, and, like, the way that they're doing it is like leapfrogging, so like half the people will go to one while the other one goes to the other.
She's educated.
She's
educated.
real.
I
She
don't get it.
knows.
And
She knows.
She follows the truck drivers on Twitter.
And it's also just a great example of artists or celebrities using their wealth and their money to the advantage of others, because she's creating jobs.
My queen. Mother.
Taylor
Yeah.
Swift for president, honestly.
For real.
I
feel
mean,
like-
listen, whenever I first, when I was a T
Hater.
Swift hater, I'm not gonna lie, when I was one, I, wasn't really thinking about everything else that she'd been doing. In my eyes, I would just, her vocal range is like just, kind of average. And I think she has said that before, but it's like, it's not really my vocals. It's like the songwriting that she's like really superb and really talented.
So true, so true.
And
so
so
true.
I think when I started actually listening to the lyrics, and I was like, right, so this is actually fire. And then again, with this whole, economy moment, I have really become a big fan of hers. Watched the documentary. It was incredible.
Did you see
It
the
really
movie
was.
coming out?
Yes.
No.
Breaking
so I didn't
news,
even know that.
literally today, she announced that her Eras Tour concert movie comes
Oh,
out
I did
October
hear that.
13th.
And I'll be watching now. I will
Exactly.
be watching. She is just such a woman of the women.
Women.
For
Okay,
real.
real
Woman
quick.
of the women.
Real quick before we go, everyone, what's your favorite Taylor Swift song, Jolie?
Enchanted right now.
Back to December.
Mine right now is 7, but
It's always changing.
it's always changing.
It's too good.
But that
It's an
being
era,
said, Yep.
It's an
Exactly,
era.
new era all the time. That being said, we will see you later at a later time. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
We're back, Jukebox. Feels great. I missed you guys. We're back on campus. We're back in the studio. We're back here talking to you guys. It's awesome. All these new faces, it's so cool. So many new people. It's sweet. I love it. We got some great stuff coming up this semester, too. We got some cool surprises for you guys. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really fun. Right now, though, today, I'm going to talk to you guys about Lollapalooza. I interned there this summer with KU Leap. The KU Leap program was really awesome. I got to kind of go backstage and see how it all works, and I got to help set up, and I got to see some really cool acts too. So I want to go through the acts I liked, the acts I didn't like, the acts I hated with a passion. There weren't too many because it's Lolla, so it was really fun, but let's get into it. Number one, it was the Chili Peppers. They're red hot, man. They're great. They're old. I know they take their shirts off sometimes. It's kind of weird. They're ancient, but they rock. You know what I mean? I mean, Flea and Chad Smith are as tight as a pocket gets. They're so cool. Anthony Kiedis is sober now, so he remembers his lyrics, which is good. And John Frusciante is the greatest guitarist of our generation, so I got to see him. It was awesome. A close second, though, was my favorite band, The Garden. They're so cool. Two brothers, Wyatt and Fletcher Shears. I mean, they just bring the energy. They were at a good time segment too. They were playing from like 9 to 10. The rain was coming down, and it was just so cool to see them. At one point, the drummer jumped off the kick drum, did a front flip into a somersault, and started rapping. Their energy is unmatched. They're so cool. So those are my top two, Chili Peppers and The Garden. When it comes to the acts I didn't love so much, don't hate on me in the comments. This is just my opinion, so save it. I don't need to hear it. But the Backseat Lovers, they didn't do it for me. They just didn't. I mean, they're a great band. They got that one song, Kilby Girl, that they played all the bars, and that was cool. But it just maybe not a festival vibe. And Men I Trust, same thing. You know, I mean, maybe they're not meant to play Lolla. I'd see them in like a basement somewhere in somebody's house, or I don't know. But I didn't dig their Lolla set. That was just me. You know, whatever. When it comes to the most underrated acts, though, the underdog, the one I didn't expect to love, it was Alex G. I wasn't an Alex G fan before this, and you know, I didn't really listen to him when the new album came out, but he was up there playing keys, he was singing, he was playing some guitar too. He grabbed a bass for a minute. He had a synthesizer up there he was plugging into and playing with, and his band was super tight too. He had like a guitar player and a bassist with him, and he had his drummer with him who always plays in every gig that he's in. And they're just so tight. They've got the chemistry to be able to play together. It was so cool, and I've been listening to him ever since. I mean, I've had him on repeat. So Alex G, he was definitely the most underrated. So to recap, Chili Peppers, The Garden, those are my top two. Backseat Lovers, Men I Trust, couldn't get behind it. Whatever, maybe that's just me. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong. But yeah, thank you to KU Leap, the KU Leap immersion program at KU. If you're interested in live music production, hit them up. It was an amazing opportunity, so I appreciate them so much. That's all I've got. Let me know in the YouTube comments, our Instagram feed, if you liked what I was talking about, if you didn't like it. And I think we'll kick it over to commercial break and then Kit in Virginia for This Week in History. Peace out, Jukebox.
Welcome back to This Week in History, where we will be recounting events in music history from the past week. I'm Kit.
And I'm Virginia. So, on August 28th, 1964, the Beatles met Bob Dylan for the first time following their show at the New York Forest Hill Stadium. This day marked the start of the Beatles' experimental albums after Bob Dylan declined drinks and introduced them to marijuana instead.
School's Out by Alice Cooper topped the UK singles chart in 1972. This was the title track of the band's fifth album. When asked about his inspiration for the song, Alice Cooper noted that it was about the greatest moments of his life, Christmas morning and the last day of school.
In 1980, Fleetwood Mac shocked fans by announcing their unexpected hiatus. The announcement came after the last performance of their tour at the Hollywood Bowl. Lead singer Lindsey Buckingham told the crowd, "This is our last show for a long time."
On August 31st, 1984, fans rushed to UK cinemas to catch Prince's Purple Rain that had been released a month prior in America. The blockbuster grossed over $72 million worldwide and won an Academy Award for Best Original Song Score. It was preserved in the Library of Congress's National Film Registry in 2019.
In 1987, Los Lobos' version of La Bamba hit the top of the Billboard Hot 100. It had a 3-week run at the top and was recorded for the La Bamba biopic about the original songwriter Richie Valens.
The same year, Never Gonna Give You Up landed at the top of the UK singles chart. The debut single by musician Rick Astley remained at the top for 5 weeks and was named the best-selling single of 1987. It topped the charts in 25 countries and was recognized as the best British single at the 1988 Brit Awards. More recently, it became the inspiration for the infamous Rickroll.
On September 2nd, 1988, the Human Rights Now World Tour began at Wembley Stadium in London with Sting, Bruce Springsteen, Peter Gabriel, Tracy Chapman, and Youssou N'Dour leading the bill. It was one of the most ambitious rock tours in history at the time and spanned 20 shows over 5 continents. The tour benefited Amnesty International and had human rights activists and former prisoners speak at each event.
On August 30th, 1992, Nirvana played their final UK show. This was one of the band's most famous concerts and opened with frontman Kurt Cobain entering the stage in a wheelchair wearing a hospital gown and a wig to poke fun at rumors of his poor health. Music journalist Everett True pushed Cobain on stage and the set went down in history as one of the greatest shows ever. It was eventually released in 2009 as Live at Reading after being bootlegged for years.
In 1996, the Beach Boys' God Only Knows peaked at number 2 on the UK singles chart. It was one of the first commercial songs to use the word God in its title and included many orthodox instruments in its creation, such as French horns in the introduction. Sir Paul McCartney cited God Only Knows as his favorite song of all time.
In 2002, Coldplay's album A Rush of Blood to the Head marked their second UK #1 album and won the 2003 Grammy for the Best Alternative Album for the second time in a row after their previous Best Alternative Album win for Parachutes. In 2004, the song Clocks from the album won the Grammy for Record of the Year.
In 2005, Mariah Carey made a record, becoming the 5th artist ever to hold the top 2 positions in the US singles chart with 2 singles from her 10th studio album, The Emancipation of Mimi.
We Belong Together held the 10th consecutive week at #1 on the Billboard chart, while Shake It Off jumped 2 places to 2nd place.
Hilly Crystal, who found New York punk club CBGB's, died in 2007 at the age of 75. His death came after a battle with lung cancer, but he left behind a legacy. His club was founded in December of 1973 and became an underground hub, launching the careers of many punk and new wave artists. These artists include the Talking Heads, Blondie, and Television. Crystal is also credited with discovering both Patti Smith and the Ramones.
In 2013, Madonna was named the world's top earning celebrity of the year by Forbes. She made an estimated $125 million from her MDNA tour, as well as her similarly named clothing and fragrance lines.
In 2014, Kate Bush made history as the first woman to have 8 albums on the UK charts at the same time. This monumental moment came after her first shows in 35 years. The only artists ahead of her were Elvis Presley, with 12 entries in the top 40s after his death, and the Beatles, who had 11 concurrent entries in 2009.
That's all for Jayhawk Jukebox this week. Tune in again next week at 4:30 and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at JayhawkJukebox. And our brand new YouTube channel is at JayhawkJukebox.
Have a great weekend, everyone! Bye!